Hey everybody, let's have a moment of science. Today we are going to do a lab about whether we can separate a mixture of solids or not. So here's your hypothesis question for the day. Can you separate a mixture of solids if one is dissolved in water and the other one is not? Pause the video and write down your hypothesis in an if-then statement. If you don't remember what an if-then statement is, an if-then statement is basically, if this happens, then this is going to happen. So for an example for this lab would be, if I have a mixture of solids where one is dissolved and the other is not, then blank. Then I can separate them or I cannot separate them. Your choice. Okay, so please pause the video and make sure that you write it down. Today, we have in our science tool set here today, we have an empty test tube with a funnel inside. In the funnel is a piece of filter paper. We have our other test tube here with our mystery substances in it, two solids. We have an alcohol burner, a burner stand, an evaporating dish. We have our trusty match hook and a stopper for our test tube. And then we also have some graduated cylinders of water over here. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mystery substances. Okay? I know you can't see it very well from here, but I'll describe it to you as well as I can. It looks pretty yellow to me. If I get a little waft, it does have a distinct odor. But I can't really tell where one solid is and the other one is not because they're pretty mixed together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some water in here. I'm going to put my stopper on the top. As you can see, the water and the substance not mixing together very well. So I'm going to mix them for me. While I'm doing this, if you could, answer the next question. Do you think one of these is going to dissolve or not? So here we go. That's what it looks like now. My next step is going to be to take the stopper off carefully so I don't spill it on. I do not actually want to get any of this on my hands. If I do, I definitely don't want to stick my fingers anywhere near food or anything like that before I've washed my hands. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour this into our filter paper. You'll notice something quickly happening that is different between what was in here, what's now coming through the filter paper. Put this here so you can compare the two. I do not need all the extra of the substance in there. I just need to see, can I test or can I separate the two substances? The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this other graduated cylinder of water and I am going to pour it into the filter paper. The point of that is to kind of wash anything off that might still be there. Okay? To make sure that if there was a second solid, that it's dissolved completely and it's completely washed through. Okay? And I'm going to patiently wait for the filter paper to do its job. Filter paper, the slower it goes, the better it goes. So again, you should be noticing a clear difference between what the two solids in the water were and what it's now in that test tube. Now, next step is to take this. I'm going to pour this now clear liquid into what we call the evaporating dish. I hope, based on its name, you can to figure out what it's going to do. I'm going to take the filter paper out of the funnel. Again, I do not want to really get this stuff on my hands. But I'm going to show it to you anyway. And you'll see that, yeah, still looks pretty yellow in there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to light up the match. And I'm going to evaporate this water away or boil it away to see was there really a dissolved substance in there. Now, as with boiling anything, this can take a little bit. So as you are waiting, okay, tell me, is dissolving a physical change or a chemical change? Is boiling a physical change or a chemical change? Is this burner with this fire going, is that a physical change or chemical change? Now, I do need to be careful as this starts to boil. If you've ever cooked bacon or anything like that in a frying pan at home, you'll know that the grease starts to pop and stuff like that. These evaporating dishes are known to do the same thing with water in them, so it'll start to actually pop out at me. And I've actually got a couple little nice burns on me from these things. It doesn't last long, but it does sting a little bit. So I am going to be watching this to make sure that it is going the way I want it to go. Now, as you can see, I am not wearing any goggles right now, and I definitely, if you were in this class doing this lab right now, you would definitely be wearing goggles. Okay, I am sitting behind this pegboard to make sure that none of the stuff can splatter into my eyes, and that's how I am keeping myself safe. Okay. Um, so as you are waiting for this to boil, you can see it's kind of starting to steam now. Um, you are going to be focusing on the questions for your conclusions. So one of the things I'm asking you is, have the two solids been successfully separated? That is one thing you're going to know after this water is boiled away to see if anything is left. Uh, Next, I'm going to ask you, what characteristic property did we actually use to know that these two were separated or could be separated? And then I'm going to take you out to a couple ideas of what could this possibly have to do with anything in real life. So I'm talking about if we had salt in some rocks, how could we get the salt out of the rock? Or how can we get the salt out of salt water to make it drinkable water? So you're going to be answering those questions as you uh, as you finish this lab. The water is definitely starting to boil away now, okay? And I will be able to describe the substance to you. I know it's a little hard to see from where you're at. While we're waiting for it to do that, I'm going to describe the solid that is in the filter paper here. The filter paper solid, I'm going to touch it with my hand because I know I'm going to wash my hands right after this. It's a very yellow, pale yellow solid. Okay, it's very powdery. I can crush it in my hands pretty easily. Okay. And like I said, it's got a very distinct odor, a very weird odor to it. Okay. And then this substance, I can already see some of it popping out of the evaporating dish. Um, this substance is definitely not yellow. So right there, we've got a clear indication that hmm, I think we've got two separate substances. One of the questions at the end of the lab that I'm going to have you do is, as you know, I have not told you what these two substances are. I want you to try and guess, using what I've been telling you, what you think these two substances are. I'm going to give you a couple extra credit points if you can correctly tell me what these two substances are and prove to me how you know that based on what I've been telling you about them. Okay? So again, we've got this substance in the filter paper. It's a pale yellow, powdery substance, very soft. It's got a weird smell. I'm not going to tell you what the smell is because that would definitely give it away to some of you who know what this possibly could be. And as we're waiting for the uh, one in the evaporating dish to finish, it does look like, yep, I can definitely see a ring of the substance appearing above where the water line was. That substance is not yellow, it is white. And it looks powdery as well. Um, but I do know that before it was dissolved, that substance had a very crystalline structure. And it is definitely popping out. I really hope that you can see it popping out on the video, but I doubt because the little things are a little too small to be seen. Um, there was a big chunk. So you'll notice there's that big chunk right there. You probably can't see it on my finger because of that, but right there, it is a white crystalline substance. Um, that substance is not the reason why I need to wash my hands at the end of this. The yellow substance is the reason why I need to wash my hands. The white substance, pretty common substance, would definitely not harm me unless it's in very, very large quantities. Some people do think it is more harmful and try to avoid it. But it's a very simple chemical structure. This substance, the yellow substance, is actually an element, while the white substance is a very simple compound that most people do know the common name of it, and a lot of people do know the chemical formula of it. Okay? So those are the only hints I'm going to give you, though. I'm going to let you try to figure out what the what the two substances are. All right, so take your time, answer the questions about these substances. Was I able to successfully separate two substances that were mixed together? How could you use this type of technique in a real world situation, either with salt being stuck in rock or salt water being needing to be turned into fresh water? And thank you for staying here for a day of science, and I can't wait to show you another moment of science.